We're gonna walk through my demo skills here. So I'm in RevOps now. I'm gonna put my RevOps hat on. I will start my day by coming into Arc. So as you can see, I'm in Arc here. It's giving me a single view of my entire revenue motion. And that's important again, because when I'm in revenue operations, I need to know exactly where to go. I need to know exactly which part of the process is the part of the process that needs my attention. So you'll notice here, I've got prospecting and closing up, but it's not enough to give you the data. No one has time to go sift through this stuff. I've had to do this in the past personally, and by the way, I did not like being a junior data scientist. What I wanted to do is just figure out how we were gonna grow revenue. I did not want to sift through all of the data to get there. Arc is gonna do that for you. We're gonna pull it all into one place, all the types of data that you need, so you're not having to connect the dots, and then we're gonna pull the insights out. So you'll notice we'll start with our prospecting phase. It's saying, hey, there's an area I need to pay attention to because it looks like we are behind the pace. Our trend line is not as good as it was in a prior quarter. So let's dig in and find out why. So if I click through here, it's gonna pull me in, and it's gonna tell me that the reason we're behind is not that everyone in the revenue organization is off, it's that I have 3 specific teams that are not prospecting enough. Now, I have had to figure out things like this in the past, and it was a pain in the butt. And the problem is, in the old world, in the world before this product, you would then have to go meet with all of the managers, reinforce it multiple times, probably talk to a director or a VP if you have that level as well, and then you have to hope that they're actually gonna do what you need them to do. Well, I would say you'll still maybe wanna have one of those conversations. Let me show you how we're gonna make that go away. So I can come in here, it's suggesting that I enable a play for these teams. So a play, if you're not familiar with Salesloft, is just something that allows you to programmatically help your sellers drive the right action. So I can come in here, you'll notice the signal says, in this case, hey, when pipeline coverage is below target for one of my sellers, we target 3x in this particular business. For Q4, I need them to schedule more prospecting time. Now for this business, let's say we're on a shorter sales cycle, it's 90 days, that's gonna work for you. If you have a longer sales cycle, we'll of course have them prospect much earlier to make sure that the future quarters are gonna be where they need to be. So what's the action here? The action is we're going to suggest to the seller, in this case, to block time. But we're not gonna stop there. The second that time is blocked on their calendar, we are going to suggest accounts and contacts to prospect at that time. We wanna make the game as easy as possible for the seller. So I'm gonna come in here, I said, hey, suggest prospecting time, add the play. It's now in my list. And as a seller, this is what I'm going to see. And this is the key. We are linking insight to action here. Insight without action is meaningless. It is meaningless. It is not enough to just know what to do. You have to actually do it. And this is how you're gonna make that happen. So as a seller, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna notice that it's telling me I need to prospect, but it's not just telling me I need to prospect, it's telling me why. My coverage is low. And I'm gonna miss the next quarter, and it turns out I like making quota, so this is probably a good recommendation. So if I click through here, you'll notice it's gonna bring me to my pipeline to kind of reinforce that point from our Fabulous Deals product. If I'm unsure if I like this prospecting block, it'll pull up my calendar. I might notice that, hey, my DM just dropped a meeting there, so I can rearrange it to go from 1 to 3 instead of 3 to 5. I'll hit block time. We will put that time on the calendar. And by the way, here's the important thing for you. We will report on who did this and who didn't. And that is critical for 2 reasons. It's gonna help your managers reinforce the right behaviors. And second, we report on the outcomes. So you can go back to the sellers and you can talk to people who did the thing that you wanted and reinforce to the people that didn't why that worked. And that is critical. Humans always wanna know why. All right, so let's say we're gonna work on my closing phase. It turns out in stage 2, so we call that validation in this particular business, the way the product works, sidebar, we're gonna pull in your stages, so imagine your sales stage names here. So we're gonna pull that in, and it's gonna tell me, it turns out our win rates go up by 35% if we engage with a decision maker at this point in the process. So that's a critical thing to know. Now let's make it happen programmatically. So if I come in here, I'm gonna find out not only do our win rates go up by 35%, it turns out we have $1.2 million worth of opportunities sitting in stage 2 right now where we have not engaged with the decision maker. So how do we make that happen now? So I'm gonna go in here, I'll say, hey, let's enable our decision maker play. You'll notice when I scroll down here, you can kind of see my mouse, my cursor. It's got the signal. It says deals in stage 2 where no decision maker has been engaged. In a few minutes, Ellie's gonna show you how we're gonna know that. But what I wanna point your attention to is this. This is a multi-step play. Sometimes it's not enough to just have the seller do the action. There are times if you're in enablement or RevOps, I wanna go reinforce why, because I think we have a skill gap. So if you look here, I have the opportunity to pull in an enablement resource. So this is where if you're using like a HighSpot or a Seismic, or you have your own training videos that you've made, you can go ahead and embed that right in here. So in this case, I'm gonna do that. And in addition, the second that video has been played, an email is teed up for my seller now to engage with the decision maker. So not only am I enforcing the right behavior, I'm building this skill so that they're gonna get better consistently over time because I'm putting this training in their workflow. Now, what we're not gonna do, by the way, is pop that every single time because that would be annoying. We're gonna do it once or twice just to make sure that we've really drilled that in, and then we're gonna continue to reinforce with the right action. So I'm gonna hit add play. You'll notice it comes up on my list here as a seller. Again, bridging insight to action. This is how you get the team to do the things that you know lead to success. It is now in my workflow. I've got 2 things. I've got the short training video, and I know why it's popping up in my queue, and you'll notice when this email comes up, I am motivating it for the seller. Humans want to know why. You have to tell them why you're asking them to do something. And so as we can see here, it is telling me if I engage with this person, the odds of me winning this deal go up by 35%. This is how you get the org to do the things you need them to do every single day. And that is what we are going to give you.